The cost of water damage restoration during construction is determined by the square footage of the affected area. The higher the square footage, the more expensive the project will be. While a Class 1 project will cost less than a Class 2 project, a Class 3 project will cost more because the damage is more extensive. For example, a Class 2 project will repair only a small area of the home. A Class 3 project will repair structural damage and top-down damage. When it comes to the actual restoration, the cost will vary from one situation to another. For example, the cost of repairing a water-damaged structure will depend on the size of the structure, the number of floors, and other factors. Regardless of the amount of damage, the first step in the restoration process is assessing the source of the leak. Plumbing issues can cause water damage. Fortunately, the main shutoff valves are inside the building or outside. Similarly, Mother Nature can cause a leak in your roof or basement. In these cases, it's best to call a contractor, who can provide shrink wrap and tarps to protect the damaged areas. The best contractors are honest, upfront, and able to explain the cost of restoration to the customer. If a contractor cannot explain why they need to replace a particular part, they probably won't do the work right. If a contractor is too smooth talking, you'll be better off finding someone else. Even if you're not ready to hire a professional, make sure you find someone with experience and integrity. The most affordable type of water damage restoration is cosmetic. This type of damage is most easily repaired. The most obvious signs include stained ceilings, tarnished metal, and damaged furniture. This isn't structural damage, and you may be able to perform it yourself. If the problem isn't severe, however, you may have to call a professional for water damage restoration. The best way to determine the exact cost of water damage restoration is to estimate your insurance claims. The cost of water damage restoration during construction can vary greatly based on your zip code. You should also ask for written estimates before work begins to ensure that you know how much you'll need to spend. While you'll need to hire a professional, the initial cost of water damage restoration can be less than a third of what you pay after the damages are largely cosmetic. The cost of restoring your property after water damage will depend on how bad the damage is. Water damage restoration during construction will involve minor repairs to the structure. In some cases, a professional will do structural repairs as well. Typically, this is between a couple $1,000 and $3,500. The cost will vary greatly, depending on how extensive the water damage is and the extent of mold remediation required. It's important to hire a professional during the reconstruction process. The restoration process will help the homeowner avoid the need for mold remediation, which will increase the cost of the project. Once the water damage cleanup is complete, a contractor will begin the water damage restoration process. They will remove wet insulation and baseboards to remove more water. They may also remove ceiling tiles and electrical wiring to make sure they're in good condition. After removing the water, the contractor will start preparing the area for the repairs. They may also need to remove some items, such as baseboards and ceiling tiles. It is also important to keep in mind that water damage restoration during construction will not be covered by your insurance company. If you plan to replace the damaged area yourself, the cost will depend on the material used and the type of contractor you hire. Some contractors will be able to call your insurance company for you, but if you're not comfortable doing that, it's best to hire a professional. During the reconstruction phase, it is important to document all damage and contact a professional as soon as possible. Regardless of the level of damage, the water damage restoration process should be completed as quickly as possible. While some items can be salvaged, other items will require full replacement. If your home was damaged by water, you should have the excess water removed as quickly as possible. If your carpets have been damaged by mold, you'll need to replace them. Your carpets should be inspected to make sure they're not infected.